Welcome back to the Stream 4 Connection with Tommy. And this one's going to be about WWE, rest of the week, news and results. And here we go. Well, Stan sent word that there was 40 minutes and 26 seconds of in-ring action on last Friday's episode of SmackDown, up from the previous week. And there were 29 minutes and 32 seconds of in-ring action on last night's Raw from the previous week. Okay, update of Zack Ryder after not appearing on last night's Raw, WWE Raw or Superstars. Ryder confirmed on Twitter today that he will be appearing on Friday's WWE SmackDown, which you will hear the results on later on. Well, Daniel Bryan has a YouTube account where he's doing some submission moves. Look for it. I was going to post it, but it's an awful long time. It's over 7 minutes, and I don't have time for this to post it. David Hart Smith's mother, Diana Hart, wrote the following on Twitter last night about her son and his future in MMA. Good night. I predict Harry Smith, DH, will be the new Brock Lesnar for Strikeforce. Onward and upward, easy for the 6'5" monster with strategy. Can't wait. WWE will tape NXT SmackDown from the Power Balance Pavilion in Sacramento, California. Confirmed from tonight's show is a special announcement from Christian that he's invited Triple H to listen to. WWE also announced that both Christian and Randy Orton will be in action tonight. Not against each other, as you will see and hear later on. Tonight will also be reportedly see the return of Sin Cara character, with or without the former Mystico under the mask. Raw superstars Alberto Del Rio and Rey Mysterio will be in the house, as well as WWE advertising a tag match with Orton and Mysterio versus Christian and Del Rio. The podium for the anonymous general manager was set up at last night's Raw from San Jose, California, but was not used again. A local wrestler that brought his play face at last night's WWE Superstars taping was Joey James. JJ. Wrestling Observer reports that WWE officials were not happy with Melina joining John Morrison on the WWE Tour live events on the past weekend, since her release was on Friday, and as a result did not allow her into the building for last night's Raw at all unless she bought a ticket in San Jose. Officials were informed Melina that she was not welcome in the arena. Melina confirmed on Twitter that she was told she couldn't go into the arena to watch Raw, but did hang out outside the building and meet some fans. She also added that she had the weekend trip with Morrison planned prior to being released from WWE on Friday. Rey Mysterio had an MRI done over the weekend, but as of yesterday did not have the results back. Rey is reportedly very worried, as it's the same knee that he has had several surgeries on. We should know more later this week. Joey Styles wrote the following on Twitter after last night's Raw. Congratulations to @CM Punk and @John Cena for the most entertaining conversation I can remember in pro wrestling or WWE reality TV. Okay, in a correction from last night, a fan that reported the Colt Cabana worked a dark match was incorrect. He did not work a dark match against Kurt Hawkins. There was no dark match before last night on Raw. On a related note, some have been wondering what name Cabana was introduced to last week when he wrestled Wade Barrett in the WWE dark match. He was introduced as Colt Cabana and not Scott Goldman, which was his previous name in WWE. Okay. It was reported yesterday that several FCW wrestlers had possibly been released after being removed from the roster page. One of those removed and expected to be released was former Tough Enough contestant Ariane Andrew, who was just added to the roster under her new FCW name of Cameron Lynn. It looks like she might not be released after she posted a message last night on Twitter indicating she was headed back to FCW in Tampa to get back to work. And what you've all been waiting for, partial WWE SmackDown matches for Superstars taping from the SmackDown brand for August 11th, 2011. Ted DiBiase Jr. beat Trent Beretta. During the match, Trent botched a top rope move early in the match. And the second match was Alicia Fox defeating Tamina. And your dark match was Brodus Clay defeating a local wrestler. The local wrestler looked like a big country Jody Kay of All Pro Wrestling, as the fan reported. And your NXT results were live from Sacramento, California. Your announcers are William Maloof Regal and Todd White Chocolate Grisham. Your host was Matt. I am also Arnold Schwarzenegger's love child, Stryker. Matt Stryker is in the ring and he says we have a unique challenge called Bobbing for Redemption. They will need to grab an egg and carry it across the line. Darren Young interrupts and he says that he is sick and tired of the garbage coming out of his mouth. For the last 23 weeks, he has dominated NXT and he will not be a part of any challenge or mission. He wants to know who Stryker thinks he is. Matt says he doesn't care if Darren does the challenge or not. He has a job to do. Darren wants to know who Stryker thinks he is because he said that he is not going to do a challenge. Darren reminds Stryker that he has main evented at SummerSlam, and he wants to know what Stryker has done. He says that Stryker is a wannabe and he is a host because he couldn't cut it in the ring. Matt says that he was blessed to have a career and wrestle in front of the WWE fans. All Darren does is talk about his past accolades, and that is why he is not going to win. Darren should stop focusing on the past and focus on what he's going to do now. Darren says that he needs to think about his future, and then he punches Stryker. Darren tells Stryker if he wants to be a tough guy, why not go one-on-one in the ring? He will show Matt and everyone in attendance why he's going to win NXT. Well, Regal suggests that Young better be careful because of how Stryker looked last week. Tyson Kidd is asked about facing Justin Gabriel, and Tyson is shocked that Justin is called NXT alumni. Tyson says that he comes from the best alumni. If you can combine Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart and his high-flying skills, he is the best to ever come from the dungeon. He will make Justin Gabriel suffer tonight, and Justin will find out how truly great he is. And then they go to commercial. Match number 1, back for a commercial. Tyson Kidd versus Justin Gabriel is up. They lock up. Kidd works on the wrist, but Gabriel rolls through and does a cartwheel to reverse. Kidd with a single leg takedown, but Gabriel with a hammerlock. Kidd gets to the ropes, and Gabriel releases the hold. Kidd with a waist lock and a takedown in front into a front face lock, but Gabriel with a hammerlock into a side headlock. Gabriel with a shoulder tackle, and he avoids a hip toss by landing on his feet. Kidd with a side headlock takedown. Kidd holds on to a side headlock, and then he runs Gabriel into the corner and connects with a series of shoulders followed by a kick. Kidd with a snapmare and a kick to the back. Kidd with a running kick to the head, and then he gets a near fall. Kidd chokes Gabriel in the corner with his knee. Kidd punches Gabriel, but Gabriel with a chop. Gabriel with a forearm, followed by a European uppercut. Gabriel with a few kicks in the corner, and then he chokes Kidd with his boot. Kidd with an Irish whip, followed by a punch and an Irish whip, but Gabriel floats over and he sends Kidd to the floor with a head scissors. Gabriel goes to the apron and Kidd tries to stop him. Gabriel tries for a moonsault, But Kid kicks Gabriel to stop him. Then they cut to commercial on the internet. We are back, and Kid with a reverse chin lock. Gabriel with elbows and a punch to Kid. Gabriel tries for an STO, but Kid with a series of kicks and a drop kick for a near fall. Kid with a knee drop, and he returns in a reverse chin lock. Kid holds on the ropes. Kid with an elbow drop for a near fall. Gabriel with a backside to Kid on the floor, followed by a corkscrew punch onto Kid. Gabriel returns Kid to the ring. And then he sets up for the springboard crossbody, but the momentum allows Kid to get a near fall. Kid sets up for the sharpshooter, but Gabriel kicks Kid. Gabriel with a choke on Kid, but Kid gets to the ropes. Gabriel goes up top for the 450 again, but Kid is able to get up, and he crotches Gabriel. Kid goes up top as well, but Gabriel kicks Kid off. Kid with an insecurity to the back, but Gabriel stays on top. Kid with a double jump Rana from the turnbuckles for a near fall. Kid punches Gabriel, and the referee warns Tyson not to use his fist. Tyson with a back heel kick, but Gabriel with a Blue Thunder driver for a near fall. Gabriel with forearms to Kid, but misses the roaring elbow, and Kid with a single leg crab. And Gabriel tries to get to the ropes. Kid pulls Gabriel into the center of the ring, but Gabriel with a roll up for a near fall. Gabriel with an STO, and Gabriel goes up top for the 450 splash and hits it for the 3 count. And then they go to commercial. Match number 2, back from commercial, Darren Young versus Matt Striker. Young pushes Striker, but Striker with a double leg takedown, and he punches Darren Young back. Striker with an arm drag to Young. Striker with a chop to Young, but Young puts Striker on the apron. Young with a neck breaker on the apron and gets a near fall. Young with forearm to the chest, and then he applies a reverse chin lock. Striker with elbows, but Young with a forearm, and then he sends Striker shoulder first into the ring post. Young slams the arm into the ring post. Young with an elbow drop, and gets a near fall. Young stands over Striker, but Striker with a slap, and he gets a near fall. Young with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex, and he gets a near fall. Young with an arm bar. Striker punches Young, but Young with a knee. Striker blocks a snapmare and then hits a gory bomb. And your winner is Darren Young. They go to commercial on the internet. And back from a commercial, they show the CM Punk John Cena video package that aired from last night on Raw. Todd asked Regal how Triple H, as referee, will affect the WWE title match. Regal is at loss for words, but says that Triple H might have the ulterior motives. Daniel Bryan is walking in the back, and Darren Bateman is busy playing video games. Daniel tells Derek that they need to talk. Derek wants to talk about going 2-0 against Titus and how Bryan needs to be at ringside. Daniel tells Derek that he is not going to be at ringside with him because Derek is embarrassing himself. He tells Derek to figure out who he is, and then he might show up at ringside with Derek. Then they go to commercial. And match number 3, Derek Bateman versus Titus O'Neil with Hornswoggle and AJ Lee. Derek gets distracted by Hornswoggle, and Titus attacks from behind. Titus with a hard Irish whip, and then he barks. Derek with a kick to the knee, and then he hits a swinging neck breaker on Titus. Derek works on Titus's back, and he gets a near fall. Derek with punches to Titus in the corner, followed by an Irish whip. Then he hits a running drop kick into the corner, and he gets a near fall. Derek with a reverse chin lock on Titus, followed by forearms to the back. Titus with a headbutt to the midsection, but Derek with a snapmare and a reverse chin lock. Derek gets on Titus' back, but Titus runs Derek into the turnbuckles. Then he hits a backbreaker of his own. Titus with clotheslines to Derek, followed by a power slam, and then he barks again. Titus tries for a slam, but Derek escapes the hold. Then he tries for a sunset flip, but Titus drops down and gets the 3 count. Winner of the match, Titus O'Neil. After the match, Derek attacks Titus, and then he grabs Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle goes through Derek's legs, and Titus hits the clash of the Titus. Titus points to the corner, and it is time for the frog splash from Hornswoggle. And then they go to the credits to end the show. And apparently there's a title change on SmackDown taping. Cody Rhodes defeated Ezekiel Jackson to win the Intercontinental title at the SmackDown tapings on tonight's taping. Mike Tavares was at the SmackDown tapings and delivers the results. He says, and then the regular updates, which took almost several hours, and got a refresh for updates, or he got the full results. Triple H starts out the show coming out and set up Ezekiel Jackson versus Cody Rhodes for the Intercontinental title. Alberto Del Rio versus Daniel Bryan, and Great Khali versus Randy Orton. Christian came out to speak to Hunter. Christian threatened that Hunter needed to change the SummerSlam match against Randy Orton or he would sue. Hunter told Christian he has no respect as the World Heavyweight Champion, so the match is still on. Match number 1, Sheamus defeated Christian by countout. Christian wanted no part of Sheamus, so he got himself intentionally counted out while standing on top of the entrance ramp. Match number 2, Beth Phoenix and Natalya defeated Caitlyn and AJ. Beth Phoenix pinned AJ to get the win for her team. Natalya put Caitlyn in a sharpshooter. The crowd cheered for Natalya and Beth. Okay, so who's the faces and who's the heels? If you get my drift. And they cut a backstage segment with Teddy Long, Zack Ryder, Cody Rhodes, and Teddy DiBiase and Oksana. There was also a segment with Mark Henry and Johnny Curtis, who made his debut. Yes, that's his actual debut was against Mark Henry. And they will meet later on in the show. Match number 3. The other Sin Cara, and my guess is Hunico, defeated Tyson Kidd. And the reporter said it didn't seem like anyone knew the difference between this Sin Cara and the real Sin Cara, assuming they used someone else under the mask because the real Sin Cara is suspended. Alberto Del Rio in match number 4 versus Daniel Bryan is already in progress. Sacramento has a big Hispanic population and cheered for Sin Cara in the previous match, and even Ricardo Rodriguez before this match. Bryan missed a top rope move. Del Rio got the win by submission. Wade Barrett attacked Bryan after the match. Match number 5, Cody Rhodes defeated Ezekiel Jackson to win the Intercontinental title. It appeared Dylan Drake of AllProWrestling.com was passing out the paper bags at ringside. So there's your local tryouts and debuts from some other talents that they chose, since they've been used in the past. Well, Cody got the win with a crossroads to become the new champion. I smell a rematch at SummerSlam. Backstage, Randy Orton said he will unleash his anger at SummerSlam. They then discussed his match against Great Khali tonight. And up next was Mark Henry defeating Johnny Curtis. Sheamus came out to stop Shamu and wanted to take on the Great White tonight instead of at SummerSlam, which did not happen. Randy Orton defeated Great Khali. Orton hit RKO on Khali for the pin. Christian came out afterwards and said he's the best thing going. So apparently they did not use the tag team match in your SmackDown, so it must have been your dark match main event. And up till this point, I have not even seen any results on the dark match. So once I find it, I guess I will post it on next week's Raw. Thanks for viewing, and that ends my result. Okay, except for the Raw brand matches were taped on Monday night for WWE.com's Superstars. And that was Michael McGillicuddy, David Otunga defeated Santino and Evan Bourne. And that was it. And that's all my results. Thank you, and have a nice week, and enjoy the heat. And I will talk to y'all later, or y'all can talk to me on Twitter at Tom Kerjay, or on Facebook, Tommy, Tom Kerj. Thanks for viewing, and always comment on my ranting and raving, but please do not critique when you don't have anything to critique yourself. Thank you, and have a nice week. That's all I got to say.